Ko whetimataro te maunga. Ko Aotearoa te awa. Ko Haruta te waka. Ko Hinerupe te marae. Ko Ngāti Porou te iwi. I was born on the East Coast, and I grew up in the northern Ngāti Porou district of Matakawa. We left Aotearoa when I was 3.5 and moved away to Gisborne. Ever since then, I've felt that as someone that might not come across as a Māori when you look at me, that it's much easier for me to just blend into the mainstream. So, when the idea for this project came to me, it really excited me because it gave me a chance to reconnect with my Māori side.
I went to kaupapa mai tawhiti in Wharikahika, started in Mātahi o te tau out Horuera. And the thing is, I think with our kura that's driven by whānau, and all the teaching and learning that happen at the kura is very specific to our context, so our place and our histories that surround us. And so I think it's more of like the place here being in Matakawa, being in Wharikahika, and all our learning, and we're learning histories about when Ngāpuhi came and invaded Whetumataro, and we're right here, we can see it. And I don't know, I think like that deeper connection and that deep, like that type of learning is kind of, it just comes natural at our kura. But if you like compare it to kura kaupapa that are in the city or like quite distant and have diverse type of tamariki that go there from different iwi, and so their learning is quite broad. It's being surrounded by your koka, by your pakeke, aunties, uncles, and then your marae are right there. Like for me, like that type of upbringing is grounded me. It's quite different to the kura in like at kura kaupapa in other places.
I decided to send Caleb Dowdy to Kohanga and then Taylor Mission schools, primarily because it wasn't something that I had the opportunity to have when I was growing up. By the time I had Caleb, was at university, and I'd become really aware of the importance of understanding identity, and I thought for him, I wanted him to know who he was, where he was from, and speak his own language. When we were at Te Koro Te Koutu in Rotorua, that was our whānau. Yeah. Like those people were our whānau. Yeah. We were Te Arawa, our kids were brought up Te Arawa, and so that was what my experience of kura kaupapa was, actually whānau. And when we came to Hamilton and went to Ngātai Aotea, I was really worried that that wouldn't be true. And actually it's exactly the same. I consider all those kids, the kids that are at kura with, those teachers, those families, I think of them as our whānau, and I was worried that we wouldn't have that and our kids wouldn't feel that, but actually it's incredible. I was really surprised when I went to an event the other day and I said, I feel like I belong here.
If I wasn't put into a kura kaupapa, I wouldn't know about my history, and I wouldn't know as much as I do now. Like, I feel like I just know who I am and where I come from. There's such a big difference. With going to a kura kaupapa, the teachers are much more helpful because it's like you're a family, whereas when I was at an English school, they were just teachers. They were just there to do their job. But at kura kaupapa, the teachers really cared about what you wanted to do and really, really wanted you to succeed in what you were doing.
I went to a mainstream school for a little while overseas in Rarotonga while I was living with my grandparents. It was completely different, not only because it was bigger, but also because how divided and how people didn't know their cultural identity, so it was pretty different to me. Whānau to me in kura kaupapa means pretty much everything in school. Like, if you grow up in the right kura kaupapa school, then pretty much everyone will be supporting you. Unlike if you're going to a normal mainstream school, everyone's, I guess, divided, and that's what I learned going to Rarotonga. There was it was really divided compared to how it was back here, how everyone is whānau, like everyone will help each other, everyone pretty much will care for each other, like deep down, and everyone knows that in Māori kaupapa school.
It was too exhausting being at university. I was like, why am I here? I don't really need to be here. I'm not learning much. I was being drained of everything I knew Māori by not teachers, mostly lecturers, and other creative people in Auckland. But I was willing to help students because, you know, they were all good. Like, I really wanted to help them. Towards the end of my degree at Auckland, I was in the tuakana room, and I don't know, I think I just remember like calling my mum and thanking her for sending me to kura kaupapa, and she was like laughing, and I told one of my teachers there, she sent some of her tamaraki to kura kaupapa, and she was just like, oh. But I never thought I would like thank my mum for sending me there. I don't know, it's just like weird, but yeah, I don't know.
I think that there is a difference between students that have been through kura kaupapa their whole lives to students that are Māori but haven't done that, because they don't know who they are and they don't really know where they want to go with where they're from.
I think what I would have seen differently if I hadn't gone to kura kaupapa is I would have realised how important the reo actually is. I wouldn't think about how long it's going to survive for and what's going to happen with it. So with me having it, I guess I appreciate it more than I could have, and I guess that's more important to me now.
I don't know if I was the first, but I did my essay in Māori, and yeah, it was just a small essay that was part of my final project. It was hard too because the environment, the place is not set up to nurture that type of mahi, writing in Māori, because everyone's speaking English, all the resources are English, and so the environment doesn't support that type of learning. And so I thought, oh no, you know, if I'm doing signs in real Māori and I want to put these up, I have to do my tuhinga real Māori because it's just right. And I like doing that stuff because I would like to challenge them, or like just bring this slight thing up so they have to get someone to market in Māori, and then all that kind of stuff.
The difference for me was huge, moving from Auckland or Papakura to Aotearoa to live, to go to school. In Papakura, Rosehill College, I was never into Māori culture, never in the culture groups, never did haka. Aotearoa, I went to Te Waho Rere Kohu. I moved from a school of 1,800 kids to a school of 120. I had 8 kids in my class. All of them had grown up within a Māori environment. There was a complete difference. I remember turning up to an economics class, reading through an economics book with our teacher, and I had to read a paragraph. And there was a photo of the milk factory in Takanini, down the road from Dad's workshop back in the day. And my automatic response was, oh, I know what that is, that's in Takanini. And the whole class, including the teacher, just looked at me in disgust, going, where? Oh, Takanini? You know, for me, growing up in Auckland, that's just how it was. Every Māori name, place name, you never said with the right pronunciation. I grew up in Papakura and went to Manukau, and I used to skate at Aotearoa Square. That was just normal. And to have these people look at me like that, and I'm just like, what did I do wrong? You soon learned that I am Māori, and it is normal to say things how they're supposed to be said. And that was, I'd only probably been there for like a week, and that happened to me. Culturally, it was a shock going from the city to the coast, but a good shock. It was probably something that I needed, just to remind me of who I am and where I'm from. Teaching in a mainstream environment, Māori students are a minority at the school. Everything's taught predominantly in English, and Māori students are looked upon differently in a mainstream school. The school that I worked at, the Māori culture probably wasn't given the respect that it deserved inside of a mainstream school. We were always asked to perform pōhiri, and all the kaupapa stuff, they loved that. But outside of the tokenism of the Māori culture, there wasn't really the structure or the support in place for Māori students to succeed in that environment. Within a wharekura environment in two different schools, completely different. You know, the kids know they belong. They're not a minority within their own school. Their language and their culture and the tikanga is something that they get every single day. I see huge benefits, and that's why our kids have grown into the kids that they are today.
When I started this project, I had no idea what I was going to discover. I gained insights and perspectives from my whānau who are deeply immersed in the Māori world, and they allowed me to picture what vibrant experiences I would have had if I'd continued down a Māori pathway. These findings really brought to light how lucky I am to be part of the thriving Māori community here at Hamilton Boys High, and ultimately how lucky I am to have such a strong connection to who I truly am.